What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So today I want to talk about a company that has been doing their thing for a while in the plugin game and in the VST game, but today I'm going to be talking about one of their effects plugins. Now, the name of this plugin is Pluto, and it comes to you by Cymatics. Now, Cymatics is heavily known for their sample packs. I mean, there's a lot of songs that are actually out right now that you probably listen to that's probably using one of their loops or samples in some sort of way. They get a lot of placements with their sample packs. And I think part of the reason of that is quality. They put out quality sample packs, quality loops, drum loops, melodic loops, and they give away a lot of free loops. And a lot of times when you get free loops, sometimes the quality isn't always there. Sometimes it's kind of like, you know, throwing bait in the water to kind of reel you in so that you may purchase some of their other things that they may be selling on the website. But Cymatics does not do that. They don't play around with the producer community. They put out dope loops, dope sample packs. So I was really intrigued when I saw that they have plugins as well and they have VSTs as well. Now I picked up their Pluto plugin because it's a multi-effects plugin and I can't seem to get enough of multi-effects plugins. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to me, even though there's a lot of multi-effects plugins on the market, they all seem to have their own sort of nuance to it. You know, one multi-effects plugin may offer something that another one doesn't, or they may offer the same effects, but the sound of the effects, the nuances in that effect itself are slightly different than some of the other plugins that are on the market. So I was really excited when I saw Pluto. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Cymatics, Pluto, let's see what this thing is all about. So as always, I have Logic queued up and this is Pluto. Now, like I said earlier, Pluto is a multi-effects plugin. It's Cymatics offering to that department of plugins, and I can't get enough of multi-effects plugins. It's always good to be able to take a sound that may sound a little basic, or even if it doesn't sound a little basic, maybe you just want to add your own touch and your own feel to that sound. It's always good to be able to take a multi-effects plugin or a bunch of different effects and add your own nuances to that sound to really make it your own. So when I find a really good multi-effects plugin, I like to shed a little light on it. And we're going to get into how this thing sounds and how the effects in this multi-effects plugin sounds in just a second. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the UI design and what's happening on the screen here. So if you just look at it right off the bat, really clean UI design. I love the grayish tone. I love the shadow in this main wheel right here, and I love that glow. The resolution is super sharp. There's nothing cheap looking about this plugin here. So that right off the bat provides a little bit of inspiration. If you're using a plugin, you like to feel good about the plugin you're using, especially when it comes to software. I mean, when you're dealing with hardware, it's a little bit easier to feel inspired because, you know, you're twisting the knobs and you're pushing up the faders and you're doing all of these different things. But when you're dealing with software, it's always good to have a really cool and really interesting UI because that just sparks a little bit of creativity off of something that you can't really touch. You like to feel like you can touch it. And when you look at the UI, you see these buttons have that raised look to it and everything just looks really clean. If you look right here, you have this center knob here, and this is your amount knob. So for all of these different effects that you have inside of this multi-effects plugin, as you can see over here, we have a wow flutter effect, we have a mod effect, we have a delay effect, and a reverb effect. And you'll notice as I go through each one of these effects, the amount knob changes. This amount knob is designated to each one of these effects individually. So as you go through each one of these effects, you can change the amount using the amount knob, and that's really cool. Like I said, you have wow and flutter, you have a mod effect, you have a delay effect, and you have a reverb effect. And as you go through each one of these effects, you'll notice down here at the bottom, these effects have their own settings and their own parameters that are designated for each one of these effects. So if you click on the wow flutter button down here, you have the wow rate, you have the flutter rate, You have a stereo knob right here, and you have a blend knob that can blend between the wow effect and the flutter effect. So you don't just get a wow and flutter effect, but you can actually blend between the two effects to really get you what you're looking for. And then on top of that, you can adjust the amount knob to kind of mix how much you want to introduce that into your dry signal. So that's really cool. If you go over here to the mod effect, you have different modes of modulation. So you have a chorus effect, you have a phaser effect, and you have a flanger effect. And depending on which effect you're on, the chorus effect has the frequency, the hertz. You have your feedback knob right here, and you have your stereo knob right here. If you go up to phaser, you'll see you have your frequency, your stereo, and your mix knob. And if you go over to flanger, you have your frequency, you have your feedback knob, and your stereo knob. So it's really cool that they were able to take all of these different settings, and instead of loading up the screen full of a bunch of different settings and a bunch of different knobs and switches and just kind of driving your eyes crazy with how much stuff you're seeing on the screen. It's really cool that they were kind of able to create settings inside of settings so you don't overcrowd the screen. So like I said, if you go over to chorus or phaser or flanger, they don't have a bunch of knobs on the screen. As you go through each effect that you're using, the usage for each one of these knobs change automatically, and they're designated for what effect you're using. So that's a really cool way to keep a very simple UI simple, but still provide you a lot inside the plugin to keep you engaged. That's really cool. Right over here, you have delay, and you have your feedback knob, your damping knob, your time knob, so you can adjust the time. You could turn it on to a tape delay or a granular delay. You could switch back and forth with this switch here. And you could hit this button right here, and that's going to put that delay into reverse. So a lot of really cool features inside of this thing. Over here, you have your reverb, and you could go between a hall reverb and a shimmer reverb. I really like how the hall reverb sounds. And inside of reverb, you have your decay knob, your size knob, your damping knob, your mod depth. And that's really cool. Over here on each side of the screen, you have your input settings and your output settings. Now down here, you'll see these down arrows. This is where you could go into the advanced settings of this plugin. And it's gonna give you a few more settings to just allow you to get a little more intricate in the way you're carving out your sound. You have a filter knob right here. You have pre and post for your high pass and low pass filters. You have high pass and low pass filter knobs for your delay. And you could click over here where it says reverb, and you can adjust the high pass and low pass filter for your reverb. Over here, you have your mixing section. This is going to help you blend between your dry and wet signal for the entire plugin itself. Right up here at the top, you have some factory presets, and you have everything from delay presets to effects presets to lo-fi presets to reverb presets. And as you can see, this thing comes loaded up with a bunch of different presets right off the bat. So it's really cool that you could kind of start off with a preset and then make your own individual adjustments to those presets if that's what you wanted to do. And you could save your own presets right here. You can overwrite a current preset, or you could save a new preset. So all really cool features, really straightforward. So what I want to do right now is I want to just play a little melody. Let's see if we could come up with a simple melody. I'm going to pick a simple instrument, and let's see if we can add a little bit of character and a little bit of feeling to that simple instrument. Let's go over to one of Cymatics' other plugins. This one is called the Aurora VST. And this is a really cool VST as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just come up with a really simple melody and a really simple instrument, and we're going to see how we can spice that instrument up with the Pluto effect plugin here. So we can use this one right here. This says Bell Concrete Marimba. All right, so that's going to be our melody, and we're going to just start messing around with these effects here and seeing what we can come up with, seeing how we can adjust the sound and make changes to the sound to maybe come up with something a little bit different. So let's see what this thing is all about. So I'm gonna introduce a little bit more of that signal into the plugin itself by turning up the input. See, I forgot to play around. I was wondering why I wasn't hearing enough of that chorus effect that I just added to it, and it's because I had the modulation amount knob turned down. So again, every single one of these effects, you have to adjust the amount knob to introduce that effect into the dry signal. So I had it turned down, so I wasn't really hearing the chorus effect, but now I can kind of hear it the way I want to hear it. So let's check it out. And that's it. So this is the sound without the plugin on it. Still a cool sound, not all that simple, a little simple, but the sound still has a nice little bit of character to it. But I wanted to make it a little bit more wet sounding and, you know, give it a little more atmosphere so that it could probably sit in a beat a little bit better. And this is the sound with Pluto on. Now, for this segment of me going through the presets, what I want to do is I want to change the actual sound. So for this test of the presets, to hear what these presets sound like, I think it's a good idea to use something like this, which is a really straightforward sound, a really straightforward piano, and just really hear how it adds character or changes the dynamics of that sound itself. So I'm going to just start off here, go up to factory presets. We're going to start off with lo-fi. And let's hear what it does when we go through some of the lo-fi presets. So this is the piano by itself. And now let's check out Pluto. Now, I will say, as dope as some of these lo-fi presets are, and maybe this is something they could come out with in an update, but I think it would be super dope if they just had one more effect for like record crackle or, you know, tape saturation. But just listening to how dope some of these lo-fi presets sound, I could just imagine how much doper it would sound if I could add some like record crackle and some tape saturation to it. That would be really, really cool. Let's check out effects. So these are effects presets here. Let's see what this sounds like. But yeah, that was some of the presets inside of Pluto. So now what I want to do is I want to get right into the cooker. I'm going to show you guys a beat I made using Pluto on one of the instruments. Now, I made this beat on my laptop, so I don't have the entire session loaded up here. I just have the WAV file right here so I can play the beat back for you guys. But I'll tell you, the instrument that I use Pluto on is the guitar instrument. It's the main melody in the beat. The character that Pluto added to this guitar is second to none. Like the guitar sounded completely different before I added Pluto to it. The guitar was very sharp, very in your face, not a lot of delay, not a lot of reverb. And Pluto really not only helped give it more character and more nuance and give it more movement, but it also helped it to sit in the beat a little bit better and not pierce your ears too much and just like be right in your face. And this is the beat I made using Pluto. And that's it. That's the beat I made using Pluto. Now, like I said, there's a lot of multi-effects in the game right now, a lot of multi-effects plugin. My goal when I bring multi-effects plugins to this channel is not to tell you that this is the one that you need to buy. My goal is to bring as many cool things to this channel that I like, that I think you guys might like as well. And this is a multi-effects plugin that I think you guys could use in a lot of situations. Not so much because of all of the different types of effects that are jammed up inside of this plugin, but mainly because of the quality of the actual selection of effects inside of this plugin. Like I said, not all delay plugins sound the same. Not all reverb plugins sound the same, but I like how their reverb and their delays sound inside of this plugin. I definitely think this is a plugin that you guys should check out, but let me know what you guys think. Is this something you could see yourself added to your arsenal? Do you have a lot of Cymatics stuff? Like I said earlier in the review, Cymatics is always coming out with really dope sample packs, really dope loop kits. So do you have a lot of their stuff? Do you like their plugins more? Do you like their sample packs more? Let me know what you guys think. As always, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. and I'll catch you guys on the next one.